Good evening, Hollywood Baptist Church. Welcome to online Wednesday night devotionals. We're glad to have you here. If you've got any prayer requests, make sure you send them to Pastor Chuck at hollywoodbaptist.org. If you're not getting any emails from our church about upcoming events or prayer requests being sent out, make sure that you shoot me an email right in there that you want to be added to the email list, and we will get that done as soon as possible. Christmas is almost here. I don't know about you guys, but waiting on Christmas I still get like a child when I do this. That's what we talked about last week, right? We talked about a child at Christmas, how we should be excited about Christ, about what God's doing in our lives. Excuse me. Well, I don't know about you, but I enjoy food, and my kids do too, right? And so if you have ever popped microwave popcorn. Now, I know, microwave popcorn is nothing compared to doing it on the stove and the little crank turn and the mixer and the oil and popping it like that and putting real butter on it. I'm making myself hungry. But when we don't have time for that, we can pop it in the microwave, do it for about 2.5 minutes, and I'm telling you, that's the longest 2 to 2.5 minutes in the world. Ever. It takes forever for a bag of popcorn to pop. And our kids sit in like a semicircle in front of the microwave as it's popping, watching, and sometimes even cheering as it's going by. And then at the final moment, when it's finally completed, everybody cheers, we pull it out, and we serve it up. And it's an incredible time, right? You're asking, like, Pastor Chuck, why in the world are you talking about microwave popcorn? Well, there's this passage in Galatians chapter 4 that actually has to do with the very first Christmas, right? It says this, it says, "But when the set time had fully come, God sent his son, born of a woman, born under the law, to redeem those under the law, that we might receive adoption to sonship." Now, there's a whole lot in that, and we're not going to cover a lot of that, but here's the synopsis, right? Paul is writing to the church at Galatia and the other churches that this was sent out to. Excuse me. And he's telling them, he's saying, listen, God sent his son at the perfect time, right when it was supposed to happen. At just the perfect amount of time, God sent Jesus. And he sent Jesus to be born into the law so that he could redeem those from the law and adopt them into sonship. Now, in other words, taking us from this system of do's and don'ts and rule follows and this and that to bringing us under the second covenant or the new covenant, which is about grace. Now, here's the fact of the matter. God had in his mind the perfect time of when Jesus was supposed to come. Now, you may question, okay, well, what do you mean the perfect time? Well, the perfect time was Jesus was born when the Romans basically ruled the known world. The roads that were going all throughout the entire world were built in such a way. Some of them last today, the Roman roads. And so they were built so that the marketplace was spread out. People could go from city to city, and enterprise was a massive thing. Guess what happened when people would go along those roads? Well, they would carry their favorite stories with them. Their stories would pass through their lips and go onto the ears of other weary travelers or businessmen. And guess what? The story of the gospel was spread through every one of those roads in the Roman Empire. It was a perfect time. It was also during the time of what's called the Pax Romana, or the Roman peace. It was a time span, a small time span, that there were really no wars. It was a peaceful time. They had to deal with things here and there, but overall, they weren't massively out conquering anything. Jesus was born into this window. Do you know that the language, Greek, was really known throughout the entire world? The Greeks, with Alexander the Great, before the Romans, had taken over basically everything that was known to man, and they had helped everyone learn this language. Well, guess what? It was a language that everybody knew. It was a common language, so the gospel could be spread very quickly and very easily. This phrase, but when the set time had fully come. Guess what? Some of your translations, the New King James Version, the New American Standard, it says, when the fullness of time had come. Guys, let me tell you something. God doesn't do anything by accident. He's very particular with his will. He's very picky on how he wants things to happen. Now, I'm not the kind of person that believes that we don't have free will. I believe that we do. But God in his sovereignty doesn't mess around with the things that he wants done. And when the fullness of time, the set time had come, God in his sovereignty allowed Jesus the Christ to enter into the world. Just like that popcorn, right? I mean, we can joke about a set time, but I can never get it right. It doesn't matter what popcorn setting on what microwave, you push that button and it either undercooks it and leaves kernels, or it cooks it too long and it pops and burns too many of them. Guess what? God doesn't make mistakes like that. And when he brought Jesus, when he placed Jesus on this earth through the life of this virgin named Mary, this young girl, in this weird type situation where God did not use fanfare, he didn't use pomp and circumstance, it was a very quiet arrival. Okay, you say there are a multitude of heavenly hosts. Okay, I'll give you that. That's pretty crazy. But you think about it. If any other world leader were to have a baby, it would be a big deal. This is the God of the universe. And he chose a virgin named Mary, a carpenter named Joseph, a stable in named of Bethlehem, but this little bitty city. Why? Because it was a part of God's plan. In the fullness of time, when the set time had fully come. Now, what does this mean to you and me tonight when we're getting so close to Christmas? Getting your last of your shopping taken care of, and probably cooking or doing this and that for the celebrations that are coming up. Trying to get the last of your business dealings dealt with before the new year. What does this mean for you and me? It means this. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what you're dealing with. But do you know that God has set times, the fullness of time in certain things in your life? I don't know what it may be, but I know that God is trying to get your attention one way or another. Maybe it's just in a little way to say, hey, just want to remind you I'm here. Signed God, you know. It's amazing to me that a sunset does that to me. I see a beautiful sunset, and it's like a signature of God just saying, hey, just reminding you I'm here. How is God trying to get your attention? How is he trying to remind you that he is the reason for the season? Not all the presents that are under the tree, not the things you can surprise your kids with, but the fact that he came at the perfect time to redeem mankind back to him. That's the main thing. Now, maybe you're going through something and it's quite rough. Maybe you got family members that are going through something. You know, the truth of the matter is, there's a fullness of time to that as well. It won't last forever. It won't go on and on and on and on. God always has an end time to the suffering that you're facing or that you're dealing with, that you're going through. So don't lose hope. Don't feel like there's no tomorrow. Keep your chin up and remember that God, in the fullness of time, accomplishes his will. I love y'all. Y'all have a very Merry Christmas. This is our last online Bible study until the new year, so we will have these up and rolling again. Excuse me, when we get back going in the beginning of the year. I think it's Wednesday, January 5th, I think, or maybe the 6th, I'm not sure. But we will be doing this again, and so make sure that you stay tuned. Make sure that you stay connected with us through the holidays. We are still meeting on campus on Sundays for Sunday school and Sunday church. And so make sure that you come and be a part of what's going on here at Hollywood. God bless you, and y'all have a wonderful and a happy Merry Christmas.